Namaste to all of you students. How are you? Today we are going to continue chapter number 1, Constitution part 2. Okay students, it has been observed that some of you are not following the videos shared by the teachers. Through views, definitely we come to know. Only few children, they are concerned about their studies, their parents concerned about their studies, they are watching it regularly and they are responding through the comments. I am very happy for those. At the same time, I am very much concerned. So now it's my request to all of you, and it's my, you can say, order also. Today, after watching this chapter or part 2, you have to respond me either through the comment box or personally that you have understood the chapter or not. This is I'm strictly saying. Unless and until you follow the instruction, you will not be able to get into the line, proper line. So it's happening that we have been teaching and you are at casual mode. One more thing, listen to your parents, at the same time do your work properly on time. One more thing I would like to say that yesterday you might have received a message in the class group regarding that poster making competition. So friends, it's my humble request, take maximum part in that. At least you can exhibit your talent through this. With this, let's move on to the topic, that is the Constitution part 2. So let us start the recap of what we have studied on the other day. What is Constitution? The definition: a written document which contains the fundamental rules is called the Constitution. India adopted democracy, that is our democracy form of government, wherein we choose our leaders and who exercise power, responsibility on our behalf. The Constitution contains some provision as its basic structure which are not easily changed. Then Baba Saheb Ambedkar is known as the father of Indian Constitution. This is what we have studied in part 1. Today we are going to study the key features of Indian Constitution, that is the characteristics, what are there in the Constitution. First one, that is federalism. Let's see what is that. That is the 3 levels of government. The government works at 3 levels. One is at the center, another at the state and another at the local level, that is Panchayati Raj. Constitution contains list. There are 3 lists are there. One is the state list, the center list and the concurrent list. With regard to this, we are going to study in our upcoming chapters, and the details and the issues of each government can make laws on. Government at all level draw their authority from the Constitution. That means government also, whether they are working at the center level, state level or the Panchayati Raj level, but ultimately they are getting their authority from the Constitution. Whatever is given, the basic guidelines in the Constitution, that they have to follow. They cannot exercise power on their own. Ultimately, they have to, they are reliable to this Constitution. All people in the country governed by laws made by these government. So ultimately, all people, we are responsible, and that is why whatever the laws are there today, the government says that we have to be at home and we have to be safe, away from social distance, all these things. This is the order of the government and that we are following. Then the second feature is the parliamentary form of government. The Indian Constitution guarantees universal adult suffrage or franchise. So we have already studied about this. All adult citizens above 18 age cast their vote. It means that the people elect their representatives, those who are 18 and above, directly through elections and also contest in election. Either they are contesting in the election or they are casting their votes. The elected representatives are accountable to the people. They are responsible to the people. They may be MLAs, member of legislative assemblies at the state level, or the MPs or member of parliament at the central level. Next one is the separation of powers. We have already studied. One is federalism and second one is parliamentary form of government, and the third one we are going to discuss the separation of powers. The term itself says that the power is not concentrated in one. So the work is divided. How? Government works under three organs. There are three organs of the government. You already know about it. One is the legislature. What is its role? It makes the laws. Second one, the executive, that implements the law. कानून को चलाता है, implement. Normally the government is, or the you can say government employees, सरकारी कर्मचारी ये काम करते हैं, implements the laws. And judiciary, that is the system of courts. If the कानून या कुछ भी अगर वायलेट होता है, then one can go to the court and may seek the justification. Constitution states that each organ, whether it is legislature, executive and judiciary, should exercise the different powers. All they are doing they are separate. One is exclusively making the laws, another one is जो कानून बनाया उसको implement करता है, और third one अगर कुछ होता है तो then they can go to the court. Just like your school diary also, that the school diary is being prepared by the teachers or the committee members, and you people are implementing it, isn't it? You are following the rules and regulations, and if there is something happens, then definitely you are going to, you are discussing with the higher authority for the justice. This ensures check and balance of power between all three. Check and balance मतलब किसी मतलब पूछताछ करना या फिर किसी एक दूसरे के ऊपर नज़र रखना, तो वो काम कर रहे सही से, ये काम बराबर कर रहे हैं, that is check and balance. You can see the picture, that is the separation of powers between executive, legislature and judiciary, or you can say legislature, executive and judiciary, the three organs of the government. That is the separation of powers. Next one is the fundamental rights and directive principles. So let's first concentrate on fundamental rights. The section of fundamental rights refers to us as consciences of the Indian Constitution. I'm reading the last line of the Indian Constitution. Fundamental rights को consciences of the Indian Constitution कहा जाता है. Then what does this consciences means? The fundamental rights are called the conscience of the Indian Constitution. Why? Because they are the keystone of democracy, as they are guaranteed by law and protect the people. So the fundamental rights are guaranteed by law. कानून उसको देता है. We are going to see the 6 fundamental rights is being given to each and every individual. So it is guaranteed by the law. आपको दिया जाता है, कानून देता है. And protect the people. क्यों दिया जाता है? In order to protect the people. So let's see what does it do? It protects its citizens against the state as well as other individual. So it protects the people from the state, matlab government. So whether it is at the center, at the state or at the local level, as well as other individual, एक दूसरे से भी और गवर्नमेंट से भी अगर आपको बचाता है. The constitution also guarantees the rights of minority against majority. Sometimes majority people, they are suppressing the minorities. Minorities hota hai, minority community in India. Again, we are going to study this in detail. Just like Islam, Christianity, Sikh, Jainism, these Parsis, they are the minorities. Matlab their numbers are less in India, and if they are discriminated by the majority people, so at that time also the constitution guarantees rights on them too. Now the 6 fundamental rights being given to all of us, let's see. First one is right to equality. So equality, again equality में भी different sections है. कहाँ equality है. Equality कौन सा इसमें again different clause are there. Then right to freedom, for example freedom आपको दिया जाता है. So but restriction is also there. So right to freedom में आता है, right to free to move anywhere, right to speak, the speech. So that all comes under right to freedom. Then right against exploitation. Exploitation मतलब शोषण. अगर किसी आपको शोषण करता है तो उसके खिलाफ आप जा सकते हो. Right against exploitation. Already किसी को exploitation. So we have studied again this Om Prakash Valmiki in class 7, that he has been exploited on the basis of caste. His teacher told him to sweep the floor, and now that is no more in existence. If such type of exploitation is going on, then at that time one can report, one can go to the court. Then right to freedom of religion. Freedom of religion, it's my choice to select the religion of my preference. Even though I belong to a Brahmin community, Hindu community, or Islam community, if I wanted to convert myself to Christianity or Jainism or Buddhism or any other religion, then the constitution gives you permission. It's not like that once you born into that caste or community, you should remain over there till your death. No, you can alter, you can change your religion. That provision is given in the constitution. Cultural and educational rights. As far as the culture is concerned, if you wanted to adopt, implement any culture, you can. Education rights, though nobody is restricted or I can say stopped by giving permission that since you belong to this caste or community, you will not be permitted for higher education. No, such type of discrimination is also not there. And right to constitutional remedies. Constitutional remedies means that if there is any change, then one can go. Constitution में जो remedies सुधार के लिए जा सकते हैं. So Constitution also has a section called directive principles that we have already studied, isn't it? Fundamental rights में जब हम कर रहे थे, that time only we have seen fundamental rights and directive principles. Now what is this directive principle means of state policy? So it ensures socio-economic reforms. So reforms related to सोशल मतलब सामाजिक सुधारण करना चाहते हैं, या इकोनॉमिक मीन्स आर्थिक सुधारण. So improving the life conditions of the people. So and serve as a guide. It serves as a guide other than the fundamental rights. उसके अलावा directive principles भी है that entirely concentrates on social and economic development of the people and serves as a guide. Next one is the last one, that is secularism. Now what does this particular word says? It means that the state does not promote any one religion as state religion. So all religions are treated equally without any discrimination. So it means that if it's India, so as far as the state India says that Hindu is a majority people, that is understood. But India does not say anywhere that other than Hindus, if you are following Hinduism, then only you should, or I can say it promotes Hinduism. So no, it gives respect to all the religions equally. So whether the Islamic community, Sikh community, Parsi community, all are living in harmoniously. All religions are treated equally without any discrimination. How? For example, all religious festivals are celebrated equally, whether it is Holi or Diwali or it's New Year or it is Bakrid. All are celebrated. You can see on the occasion of these festivals, our Prime Minister and the President, they also convey the best wishes, messages to the people. They are declared as public holidays. We are enjoying on Mahavir Jayanti also. We are on Holi also, on Bakrid also, on Christmas Day also. So whether we are following it or not, that is the second question, but we are enjoying it as a public holiday because they are all treated as the festivals of India only. So this is all about the chapter, the Constitution. We have studied what is Constitution, and today we specially concentrated on the key features of the Indian Constitution. So 5 key features I have highlighted. So this is very important. There are questions related to this particular point which we have discussed today. As I said in the beginning of the chapter, that you have to report me now personally through you have all my you all have my numbers. So please personally message me that you have gone through the chapter. Thank you.